Welcome to our deep dive into the fascinating world of the vagus nerve. We're going to explore how this powerful nerve can help you alleviate stress and anxiety, something you specifically mentioned you're interested in.
Absolutely. And to guide our exploration, we have two insightful videos from Sukie Baxter, a nervous system expert. One features a simple vagus nerve reset exercise, and the other delves into using similar exercises to rewire the brain away from anxiety.
And Sukie also recommends a book called Accessing the Healing Power of the Vagus Nerve.
Right.
Which digs deeper into the science behind all of this.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how she ties the concept of trauma into the nervous system.
Yeah.
It's not just about what happened to us, but how our nervous system processed that experience.
That's a crucial point. Think about it this way. The book talks about how chronic stress can lead to something called vagal tone dysfunction. Basically, your vagus nerve isn't operating at its optimal level. And guess what? These exercises can actually help restore that balance, which is directly related to reducing anxiety.
Okay, so let's unpack this vagus nerve reset exercise from Sukie's video. I'm really curious to see how it works. She starts by having you turn your head from side to side, just noticing any differences in how easily you move each way. Then you lie down on your back,
Right.
ideally with your knees bent, and interlace your fingers behind your head. What's the reasoning behind this specific position? Is it more than just comfort?
You know, I've wondered about that myself. It seems like it's all about gently aligning the spine and opening up space for the vagus nerve to function properly.
Makes sense. Then, keeping your head centered, you slowly move your eyes to the side and hold that for about 30 seconds. Sukie emphasizes watching for those subtle signs that your vagus nerve is being stimulated, small size, deeper breaths, or even swallowing. It seems almost too simple.
Well, it's not about forcing a big reaction. It's about tuning into your body's natural responses to this subtle stimulation. Sukie also mentions that once you get comfortable with the movement, you can actually do this sitting or standing, which is great for incorporating it into your daily life.
That's really convenient. Now, in her video on rewiring the brain from anxiety, Sukie talks about how anxiety is more than just thoughts. It's actually a state of your nervous system. How do you think this connection between the physical and anxiety plays out in everyday life?
That's such an interesting question. It highlights how interconnected our minds and bodies truly are. For example, have you ever noticed how you naturally shift your posture when you're feeling anxious? Maybe you hunch your shoulders, tense your jaw, or even hold your breath.
Yeah.
Those are all physical manifestations of that nervous system state.
It's like our bodies are giving us clues about what's going on internally, and even when we're safe and there's no real danger, our brains can get stuck in that danger mode, leading to anxiety. Sukie calls this interoception, right? Where our body is constantly sending signals to the brain about whether we're safe or not.
Exactly. And that's why these physical exercises can be so effective in reducing anxiety. We're not just addressing the mental symptoms, but actually working with the body to reestablish a sense of safety.
So let's dive into what anxiety actually feels like in the body. We all know the usual suspects, the tight chest, racing heart, shallow breathing, sweating. But then Sukie adds this intriguing point about the posture of anxiety. She describes it as leaning back on the heels, lifting toes, tight eyes, forward head, almost like the body is bracing itself for something.
It's fascinating, isn't it? It highlights the subconscious nature of anxiety. We might not even notice these patterns until we try to move in a way that challenges them.
That makes a lot of sense. And Sukie points out that we often try to fix this tension with stretching or massage, but it keeps coming back.
Right.
Why? Because it's rooted in the nervous system, not just tight muscles.
That's a key takeaway here. We need to work with the nervous system, not against it. And that's where these body-based practices become so powerful.
She emphasizes how these practices help regulate the autonomic nervous system, which controls all those automatic functions like breathing and heart rate. By using our body's awareness of its position in space, known as proprioception, we can send safety signals to the brain. So are you ready to explore these vagus nerve exercises?
Absolutely. I'm eager to see what Sukie has to offer.
Great. So the first one focuses on neck mobility. Let me describe it and you tell me what stands out to you. You sit comfortably and place your right hand on your head, tilting your right ear towards your right shoulder. Then, without moving your head, you shift your eyes up and to the left, holding for about 30 seconds.
What's interesting to me is the combination of the gentle stretch in the neck where the vagus nerve runs and the specific eye movement. It seems like that combination might be key to stimulating the nerve.
That's a great observation. And Sukie stresses that it's not about straining. It's about gentle movement and awareness. If you don't notice those subtle signs of vagal stimulation, like the sighs or deeper breaths, you can hold the position a bit longer. Then you repeat on the other side.
While Sukie emphasizes gentle movements, I've found that some people benefit from slightly more dynamic stretches. It's about finding what works best for your body and listening to its cues. You don't want to force anything.
That's a great point. It's all about personalization. Okay, so building on that neck mobility exercise, are you ready to explore another technique that focuses on the rib cage?
Absolutely, I'm all ears. Tell me more about this one.
This one is interesting. You start in a similar position with your right hand on your head, tilting your right ear toward your right shoulder. But this time, your left hand goes on your rib cage, and as you bend your head, you use that left hand to gently pull your ribs away.
Okay.
Creating a deeper curve with your spine.
It seems like that movement would really engage the diaphragm, which we know is directly connected to the vagus nerve.
Exactly. And then just like the neck exercise, you shift your gaze upward and to the left, holding for about 30 seconds. Sukie really emphasizes that less is more with these exercises, comparing it to the concept of titration in chemistry. What do you think about that analogy?
I think it's a brilliant way to explain it. Just like adding a drop at a time allows for better integration of substances, small, consistent movements can be more effective than big, forceful ones when it comes to the nervous system.
It's about those subtle shifts, not overwhelming the system. Sukie also reminds us that it's okay to take breaks if we start to feel any strong emotions come up during the exercises. Now, for the final exercise, you'll need to lie face down.
This one sounds intriguing. What's the focus here?
This one targets the sternocleidomastoid muscle, or SCM, which runs along the side of your neck. It's often involved in headaches and migraines. You start with your elbows under your shoulders, hands flat on the floor. Then you turn your head to look over your right shoulder, lifting your head slightly and engaging those neck muscles. You hold for about 30 seconds and then repeat on the other side.
So it's combining a stretch with that subtle head movement to further stimulate the vagus nerve. I wonder if that's why it's done lying down, to help isolate those muscles and make the movement more precise.
That's a great point. It could be about creating that stability to really focus on those specific muscles. And that's it for Sukie's 3 exercises. What stands out to you from all of them?
I'm really intrigued by how they all incorporate specific eye movements. I haven't seen that before in other vagus nerve exercises. It makes me wonder if there's something to that connection between eye position and the nerve's activity.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to explore further. You know, when I first tried these exercises, I was surprised by how much tension I was holding in my neck and shoulders. I didn't even realize it until I started doing these gentle movements.
It's amazing how much we tune out those subtle sensations until we bring awareness to them. And it's a reminder that anxiety isn't just a mental experience, it's a full body experience.
Absolutely. Speaking of the mind-body connection, Sukie brings up a fascinating point in her videos about how trauma can actually be stored physically in the body.
Yes. She doesn't go into detail about it in these particular videos, but it's an incredibly important concept. It makes you think about those subtle postural shifts she described. Could they be reflections of deeper, unresolved trauma?
It's like our bodies are holding on to those experiences even if we're not consciously aware of them. And if that's the case, then working with the body through exercises like these could be a powerful pathway for healing.
I completely agree. It's about recognizing that trauma isn't just in our heads, it's in our tissues, our muscles, our very movement patterns. And by releasing that physical tension and re-educating our bodies, we can create a ripple effect that impacts our emotional and mental well-being.
That's so powerful. Sukie's videos don't delve into specific trauma-informed approaches, but what other resources or practices come to mind for you in terms of addressing trauma through the body?
Well, somatic experiencing therapy comes to mind. It's a type of therapy that focuses on gently guiding people to notice and process bodily sensations associated with trauma, helping to release that stored tension.
Right. And I've also heard about yoga practices specifically designed for trauma survivors, using mindful movement and breath work to create a sense of safety and grounding in the body.
Exactly. And there's also the Feldenkrais method, which focuses on improving movement efficiency and awareness. It's a really gentle approach that can be helpful for people with trauma because it allows them to explore movement possibilities without judgment, helping the nervous system feel safe enough to let go of habitual patterns that might be linked to past experiences.
So it seems like there's a whole world of body-based approaches that can complement these vagus nerve exercises and help people heal from trauma.
Yeah.
It's really inspiring to see how many options are out there.
It is, and it's about finding what resonates with you and what feels safe and supportive for your individual journey. But I think Sukie's videos offer a great starting point for anyone who wants to explore the connection between their body and their emotional well-being.
Absolutely. They provide simple, accessible tools that anyone can use to begin regulating their nervous system and reducing anxiety. And that's a powerful message to share.
It really is. It's about empowering people to take an active role in their own healing and well-being.
So what does all of this mean for our listener who's specifically interested in alleviating stress and anxiety? It seems like incorporating these vagus nerve exercises into their routine could be a game changer.
Definitely. These exercises provide a practical and accessible way to calm the nervous system, encourage relaxation, and reduce those physical symptoms of anxiety that can be so debilitating.
And the best part is, they can be done anytime, anywhere. Feeling overwhelmed at work?
Right.
Try a quick vagus nerve reset. Struggling to fall asleep?
Yeah.
Those gentle neck and rib cage movements might do the trick. It's like having a toolkit of strategies to manage stress and anxiety in daily life.
I love that analogy. It's not about avoiding stress altogether, which is impossible, but about having the resources to navigate it effectively.
And that's a skill that can benefit anyone, regardless of their experience with trauma or anxiety. It's about building resilience and cultivating the sense of inner peace. I think we're ready to wrap up this deep dive and leave our listener with some practical takeaways.
Sounds good to me. I'm feeling much more informed and even a bit more relaxed after exploring all of this.
Me too. Ready for part 3?
Absolutely, let's do it.
It's like we're giving our listeners a superpower.
Yeah.
The power to consciously influence their nervous system and feel more in control of their emotional state.
And the beauty of it is that these exercises are so simple.
Right.
They don't require any special equipment or training. You can do them at home, in the office, even on a park bench if you want to.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the vagus nerve, let's give our listener a clear call to action. What's the one thing you would recommend they do today to start experiencing the benefits of these techniques?
I would say start with that simple vagus nerve reset exercise from Sukie's first video.
Okay.
It's a gentle and effective way to introduce your body to the idea of vagal stimulation.
Okay.
Pay attention to those subtle signs, the sighs, the deeper breaths, the feeling of relaxation, and just notice how your body responds.
Great advice. And remember, consistency is key. Just like any skill, working with the vagus nerve takes practice. So try incorporating this exercise into your daily routine, even if it's just for a few minutes at a time. What I'm taking away from this is that it's not about forcing anything, but about gently guiding your nervous system towards a state of balance and resilience.
That's a great way to put it. It's a journey, not a destination.
Beautifully said. And as you explore these techniques, we encourage you to keep in mind that fascinating idea that Sukie mentioned, the idea that trauma can be stored physically in the body. It might spark some interesting insights into your own experiences and healing journey.
And remember, you're not alone on this path. There are countless resources and supportive communities available if you'd like to explore this further.
So go ahead and give that vagus nerve reset exercise a try. Let us know how it goes. We're always eager to hear your feedback. Until next time, happy exploring.